I think this man needs psychiatric help. I can't stand him.
The way he was sitting there looking like he was emotionally lost and then saying, I'm doing this podcast for her to heal and move on. I think she already moved on.
And throughout the whole podcast, Ned keeps referencing to his cheating as a mistake. And I don't know, it kind of feels like he's trying to make himself sound like the victim just because he's accepting the blame.
It's been about 2 weeks since Ned Fulmer, the former Try Guy once known as YouTube's ultimate wife guy, made his dramatic return to the internet. And let's just say, it hasn't exactly gone the way he planned. After 3 years of total silence following one of the most public cheating scandals on YouTube, Ned came back with a brand new podcast called Rock Bottom. The name couldn't be more fitting, because the internet thinks he's still there. But here's where things get interesting. His first guest, his ex-wife Ariel, the same woman whose heartbreak made him one of the most hated men on the platform. And you won't believe what she said when they sat down together. Ned claimed the podcast was about overcoming rock bottom, a space for people to share how they rebuilt their lives. But instead of redemption, what he got was a reality check, and a wave of backlash he clearly didn't expect. 3 years ago, public apologies worked. Now, audiences crave something real. And watching Ned try to balance regret, rebranding, and reputation, it's like watching someone try to climb out of quicksand. Every move just drags him deeper. And trust me, once you hear what Ariel revealed next, you'll understand why this comeback might have been the biggest mistake of his career. To understand why Ned Fulmer's comeback is getting roasted online, we've got to rewind to where it all started, the scandal that blew up his entire career overnight. Back in 2022, Ned wasn't just another YouTuber, he was the wife guy, the wholesome, family-loving face of the Try Guys, a channel built on friendship, relatability, and trust. His whole identity was centered around his marriage. That was his thing. So when fans caught him cheating on his wife, Ariel, with one of his own employees, the internet lost it. It all started when a fan spotted Ned at a New York City bar getting way too close to another woman. They recognized him instantly, took pictures, sent them straight to Ariel. Within hours, Reddit was on fire. People noticed Ned missing from Try Guys videos, started connecting dots, and suddenly, the internet had a full-blown investigation on its hands. Then came the statements. The Try Guys announced Ned was officially out of the company. Ned admitted to the affair, posting the now infamous apology about focusing on his family. But by then, the damage was done. His fall from grace was brutal. The wife guy brand turned into a meme overnight. And you won't believe what came next. Because what Ned did after losing it all might be even worse than the cheating itself. 3 years later, Ned Fulmer decided it was time for a comeback. But not just any comeback. This time, he wanted to reinvent himself. And the way he did it, honestly, it feels straight out of a PR playbook. He resurfaced through an exclusive People magazine interview to announce his new podcast, Rock Bottom with Ned Fulmer. The name alone sounds self-aware. Almost too self-aware. In the article, Ned talked about therapy, rebuilding trust, and focusing on mental health. He said after coming clean to Ariel and starting couples therapy, he finally felt ready to return to content creation. But here's the twist. The internet didn't buy it for a second. Fans immediately called out how perfectly packaged his redemption sounded. Some said it felt less like growth and more like a marketing campaign in disguise. And the irony? His first guest was Ariel, the woman whose life he blew up. The optics couldn't be more awkward. The guy who built his career around being a devoted husband was now launching his redemption podcast by rehashing the affair that destroyed him. But here's where things take a turn, because once Ariel sat down across from him, the conversation went from reflective to raw. When the first episode of Rock Bottom dropped, people expected some kind of reflective talk. But what they got felt more like emotional warfare caught on camera. The title said it all, a conversation with Ariel Fulmer. And from the first minute, you could feel the tension through the screen. Ned started off by admitting it plainly. 3 years ago, I cheated on my wife with my producer. It was jarring, blunt, almost rehearsed. But then the camera cut to Ariel. And that's when you realized just how uncomfortable this really was. She looked like she wanted to leave. It feels weird, she said, like I shouldn't be here. And honestly, it did. You could tell this wasn't a healing conversation, it was content. Ariel revealed she only agreed to do the podcast because she wanted closure. She didn't want sympathy, and she definitely didn't want to rebuild anything. She just wanted to say her piece and finally move on after 3 years of silence. But then something unexpected happened. The more Ariel spoke, the more viewers started siding entirely with her. Every word she said was honest and grounded. Every word Ned said sounded scripted. And you won't believe what she revealed next, because her truth hit way harder than any apology Ned could ever give. When Ariel finally opened up, the whole tone of the episode shifted. It stopped feeling like a podcast and started feeling like a breakup being broadcast to millions. Ned asked the question everyone wanted to know. Do you forgive me? And her response? Immediate, cold, final. No, absolutely not.
Like, do you forgive Ned for what he did? And I mean, the answer is no, absolutely not. How can you forgive somebody for lying to you, for cheating on you? No. No. I don't even, it's, sorry, I saw red for a minute. It's like, no, the answer is no.
You could feel the silence after she said it. No hesitation, no soft landing, just pure honesty. She explained that forgiveness doesn't come with time, especially when someone lies to you so publicly. How can you forgive someone for that? She said. For lying, for cheating, for breaking trust. And that's when the internet realized something. All those times fans thought they were back together, total illusion. Ariel revealed they've actually been separated since the affair came out. Those concert photos and family appearances that fans thought were proof of reconciliation, just two parents trying to coexist for their kids. But the most emotional part was hearing how Ariel found out. She described receiving photos from a fan showing Ned with another woman. At first, she convinced herself it wasn't real, that it had to be his sister. But what she said next broke everyone's heart. When I saw his face, I knew. And here's where it gets worse, because Ariel didn't just lose her marriage. She lost her privacy, her peace, and her entire online identity overnight.
How did having it become such a public scandal kind of change everything for you? Did it make it worse? Broadly speaking, these scandals are such, ignition points.
I found out about your affair from the fans. I mean, and I was so blindsided that somebody sent me a picture, and I couldn't, it was like my brain couldn't compute. And it's like, for some reason, I didn't see what was actually there in the picture. I thought it was your sister. And I remember sending it to you and being like, what's your sister doing in New York?
By this point in the episode, things had already gotten emotional. But when Ariel started describing what life was like after the scandal broke, it hit a whole new level of uncomfortable. She talked about how, for weeks, she couldn't even leave the house without seeing her face in headlines. Paparazzi were camping outside, snapping photos, twisting her every move into a story. Those viral pictures of her and Ned smiling together, Ariel said she wasn't happy. She was terrified. We were just trying to get to our car, she said. I smiled because I didn't know what else to do. That one line changed everything. For years, people online mocked her for acting fine or taking him back. But now we know the truth. That smile wasn't forgiveness. It was survival. Meanwhile, Ned sat across from her, admitting that the backlash hit him hard too. But even then, his tone felt detached, like he was analyzing the situation from a distance instead of living it. Ariel didn't have that luxury. She was the collateral damage. And just when you think it couldn't get any more awkward, it does. Because what she said next about confronting him face to face proved that the real story wasn't what the tabloids told us. It was what happened the moment she looked him in the eyes. This was the moment everyone waited for. The part where Ariel finally confronted Ned about the affair. And when she told the story, it didn't sound like a movie scene. It sounded like heartbreak in real time. She explained that after fans started sending her photos of Ned with another woman, her brain refused to believe it. I thought maybe it was his sister, she said, her voice breaking. I didn't want to believe what I was seeing. But when Ned picked her up from the airport days later, everything clicked. The look on your face told me everything, she said. You looked so guilty. And that's when she said it. Turn the car around. That one line said it all. She didn't need proof, didn't need explanations. She already knew. Ned claimed he doesn't remember it happening like that, but admitted that seeing Ariel's face shattered him. It finally hit me what I'd done, he said. But Ariel wasn't letting that slide. She shot back instantly.
I've been hurting this person that I love this whole time.
You didn't realize until then?
Well, but then there's other things you tell yourself to kind of sort of compartmentalize, or I guess.
Interesting.
The tension was brutal, like watching two people live through their worst memory again. And just when it seemed like they might find some middle ground, Ariel dropped one of the most powerful realizations of the entire episode, one that completely reframed how people saw her in this story. It wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, almost whispered, but it hit harder than anything else in the episode.
When you told me, suddenly then, I had to take all of that guilt and shame of your affair. And it was so much to carry. And there was so much shame there. And I'm so tired of holding that.
I don't think it's fair that as a society you're put in that position. It's certainly not true.
That line instantly went viral because in one sentence, Ariel captured what so many people who've been cheated on feel. You didn't just break their heart, you handed them your burden. Suddenly, they become the one living under the microscope, forced to answer for your mistake. She talked about how every post she made for years was flooded with comments about Ned. Every photo, every update, all of it turned into a crime scene. Fans overanalyzed her every move, waiting for signs that she'd forgiven him or taken him back. It was exhausting, she said. I couldn't just exist anymore. Meanwhile, Ned got to vanish, take time off, heal, and come back with a podcast. Ariel didn't get that break. She had to live through the fallout publicly, every single day. And here's where the episode really flipped. Because what Ariel said next made it crystal clear who actually grew from all this, and who was still trying to control the narrative. After nearly an hour of tension, the conversation finally turned to what life looks like now. And honestly, it said everything you needed to know about where each of them stands. Ariel's life today couldn't be more different. She's left the influencer world behind completely. I just want to feel good enough, she said, and you could tell she meant it. She started her own pottery business, spending her time in a small studio creating pieces by hand. No cameras, no comment sections, no brand deals, just quiet. And for the first time in years, she actually seems happy.